Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the 3 triggers of borderline personality disorder.
Disclaimer alert. Please pause the video and read the disclaimer.
Learning about these triggers really helped me have really deep compassion for people who suffer from borderline personality disorder because they don't experience the world like people who don't have this disorder. And so, before we get into it, please like, share, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Let's get mentally healthy. I just want to say quickly, borderline personality disorder often looks like bipolar because people with borderline personality disorder have these mood swings. They can feel, as I've stated, I'm sure in one of these videos while we were talking about borderline personality disorder, that they can feel a range of emotions in one day, all right, or in short periods of time. Right? They can feel angry, scared, depressed, excited, happy in a short period of time. Mania and depression, and people are like, what's going on, right? It can feel like it's a crazy tornado wave going on. But the difference with that is that people with bipolar disorder is they can feel mania, which is like excitement, busy, they work hard, they clean, they're happy, and they stay there for weeks, 4 days to 2 months maybe, and they're just happy, and then they go into that deep depressive state and they stay there again for a long time, like 4 days to 2 months, and sometimes even years, just depressed and down and suicidal and whatever. And then out of nowhere again, goes up again, right? So you see the difference is that one feels these erratic, unstable emotions for long periods of time, and the other one feels it for short periods of time, so like can go for a day or two, right? So that is because people with borderline personality disorder live with triggers. They are constantly triggered, which is really sad, but it's really true. And so I hope this video helps you be more compassionate, not self-sacrificing, not a martyr with a person who suffers from borderline personality disorder. It helps you understand them better. And if you are the person with borderline personality disorder, it helps you understand yourself. It helps you learn to regulate yourself, but most important, helps you get help. So here are the 3 triggers. Borderline personality disorder people suffer from high fear of rejection, that anxious ambivalent attachment. They want to attach, but they fear attachment. So they grew up in a place where it was unsafe to attach, or they might have, for whatever chemical reason, it's unsafe to attach, but they want the high proximity. So that's point number 1. So you are in a relationship with people constantly fearing that they could hurt you or they could leave you. You don't want to be left. So you listen for things and look for signs of the danger of being left. And that's a painful way of living because you don't constantly just feel free to attach and feel free that you are deserving of love and that people would not leave you. But most important, that even if they left you, you would be okay. They don't have that sense. They are attached to people. Their sense of worth is attached to being attached to other people, right? So they have this high, I want to protect myself. Again, I think I made this example of your friend, learning that your friend has a new friend or has another friend that they do things with. Could be a slight, like, I thought I was your friend, I'm important, or your partner. And worse, that friend or partner says, yo, I went to such and such a place with my friend and I thought about you and I think you're gonna love the food there, let's go. You say, no thank you, I don't want to go, because in your mind you're thinking, okay, I'm not important, that other friend must be more important. You don't think, oh, wow, I must be so special that this friend of mine was out having dinner with somebody else and they thought about me, or this friend of mine was having this experience in life and they thought they wanted to experience with me. You're thinking, wow, you have another friend? That means I'm nothing and you don't want to be my friend, so see you. I don't want to be your friend, right? So it's either they leave you before you leave them, or they thinking, oh, so and so is such a horrible person, why would you want to be a friend with that person? Or they do things that are just destructive, trying to hurt you, hurt them, hurt the relationship, or even hurt that other friend. And it doesn't have to be physical, but it could be verbally, could be in other ways. That's the point, is that it's hard. They do everything that they can to try and avoid being left. They experience dissociation, so that's our second trigger, and this is where they during the day they could experience depersonalization and dissociation. So depersonalization is when they can go to the mirror and look at the mirror and not recognize themselves. It's like, oh, that's how I look, oh, that's me, right? Or I see a picture of themselves and, oh, that's me, right? They don't. So this happens because when they were young, they were probably so abused that for them to survive is to detach from that parts of themselves, right? Get away from themselves. Like the young minds is like, let's say you were hit in the bomb, you detach, you build yourself in such a way that you disconnect from your body, you go away from the self. So then you see yourself and it's like, whoa, that's me, right? And that does something to your emotion. It's like, woof, right? It's an unsettling feeling. Why didn't I recognize myself? Oh, that's whatever the ideas might come, but it creates something. So you'd be sitting with me or with a person with a borderline personality disorder, they go to the bathroom, and while they're sitting here in a good mood, everything is perfect, they go to the bathroom, they come back, they're in a slightly unhappy mood. It's because they've had that experience of, ooh, right? Oh, that's my hand. Derealization is when the space and depth of the world can be different. So the brain does something where they'll be sitting, and I'm sitting right here and there's a car parked outside there, and in a person with a borderline personality disorder is that the car might look like it's moving, and it might be startling because they consciously know that the car is not moving, or the tree there might be closer or further than it is, right? So, and it's like trying to get back into the now, the reality. The brain is just doing things. So the moods, it can be very disheartening or uncomfortable to just have the world around you in a way that it shifts, in a way that it questions your brain, but also it induces reactions and thoughts and emotions in you that seems like, wow. So you're triggered. So you're sitting here with a person with a borderline personality disorder, watching a movie or having a conversation, they look outside for a little bit and the tree looks like it's closer than it actually is. So they have to now try to get back into, okay, no, the tree is actually further and I'm here and I'm okay. So they have to try to bring themselves in a healthy, happy place. And you might be thinking, hey, well, you're so moody. Like, why are you so, suddenly you look scared, or you look so moody, or you're cutting, or you're not concentrating on the conversations, or you're not here. That's because they are struggling with that. They're struggling with that dissociation experience. So they're not just dealing with you, but they are also dealing with this other experience that they might be experiencing that you don't know about. And so they need a little bit of compassion. You never know. You never know what a person is going through. And number 3 is triggers of painful memories. So you could go to a restaurant with them and they can have a painful memory play of a time when they were at a restaurant and they said they didn't want ketchup and their father slapped them through their face. You could be sleeping with them in a bedroom and then they have a painful dream of a painful thing happening to them while they were a child, and then they wake up and you think, oh, they're in a bad mood, they're so cranky today. That's because now they're trying to get out of that painful memory. Or you could have a door slam. Let's say somebody grew up in a war-torn place, right? They hear a glass break or a door slam, they get frightened and they get hysteric. It's like, it's just a door, or to you it's just a door, or it's just a glass fell down and broke. But for them, it induces this overreaction to you. It's like, wow, like, what's wrong with you? It's just a door, right? That's because to them it's not just a door, it's taken them back into that traumatic, painful event, and they're not expressing that to you, or they themselves are not even aware that now I'm back in that painful, vulnerable place that I used to be as a child. And so they have the same reaction that they would have had if they were a child, right? So I would say that people with borderline personality disorder are in constant fear and in constant pain. They are people who are trying or need to learn and say, I'm safe now, I'm okay, or they wake up and they don't know where they are, or they have to remind themselves that, I'm in a good place now, I'm safe now, because they never used to have those things. And you as a person looking from the outside looking in, you're like, yeah, wow, you overreact. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with you? Like, relax, or stop being so overboard, or whatever that it is that you might be thinking about them. So those are the 3 constant triggers that a person with borderline personality disorder might experience in one day. They experience their partner saying, well, see ya. And maybe that's the word that mom used to say before she left for months at a time, and nobody knew where she was, but she was probably out where having a boyfriend or binge drinking somewhere. So it's a trigger, fear, like, whoa, you said see ya. Why do you say see ya? And you're like, what's wrong with see ya, right? That's for them, it's a trigger. Or they are sitting and they see a car moving, but they know the car is not moving. So they have to, again, try to come back and say, whoa, that's not moving. And you're like, what's wrong with you? They see themselves in the mirror and they don't recognize themselves, and they're certain that, I don't know myself, whatever, right? Maybe they heard a door or water in the kitchen, or they smelled something. Maybe you came in the room smelling like bacon, right? And because you went out and ate with your friends somewhere where they were cooking bacon, and for them, that's how it smelled like before they were sexually assaulted by their dad. He would make a nice meal to just pretend that he's nice to them, and then you smell like bacon, so you trigger them, right? So when you are in a relationship with a person with a borderline personality disorder, you really have to get therapy yourself, so you get somebody else to support you, but you have to be compassionate and kind and understanding and help them communicate with you, because you cannot second guess every single second trigger that they go through every day. And just try not to have your life be all about them healing, but also understand that them healing and them having triggers is part of who and what they're going through. Right? Don't be a martyr. Please don't try to be a psychologist, because not even all psychologists can treat people with borderline personality disorders. They might need to be people who are trained in DBT, and because even psychologists treating people with borderline personality disorder experience burnout. So don't try to be a psychologist, and don't try to be the person who's going to save them. Just be understanding, get yourself therapy, try to get them to therapy, and support them when they get themselves into therapy, and don't use their life experiences against them. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and if you think it might be helpful to somebody else, share it, or just like it, or comment thank you. See you in the next video. Deuces.